All right, that was kind of a weird start. How's it going, everyone? Friday. Have you ever been in the kind of mood where you're hearing something that you know is important and it's coming at you in the kind of information that you're really trying to absorb, and it's actually what you're looking for, the news or the media, whatever it is, and you're in a mood that although you're like listening, you're like, yeah, I'm listening. You're trying to think about it. You're not hearing it. It's all about your mood. Clickety clack, clickety clack, my keys at clickety clack, my keys at. So, taking a deep breath right now. I actually started this walk just to calm my nerves. I don't know why I got all worked up. I've been so calm lately. And I'm realizing as I learn to feel my feelings and express myself and do all the things that a committed, conscious self leader does, that I'm really gaining a lot of understanding the state I used to be in. And the way I was feeling about 20 minutes ago was something I was pretty used to feeling. So now, as I become familiar with that, I'm working through not being that way often. I'm realizing how often it was the case before. And although I'm frustrated right now, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed and my body's got a little tension in it. I'm trying to hang on, or not hang on, place the foundation of the positive reflection on it. And the thing that just happened wasn't bad. It was just my body's reaction to my mind and emotions reactions. And what I'm planting my flag in is that I actually ended it very quickly so that I could gain the experience I needed in the moment from the other person and truly hear them and take the gift they were giving me that would actually prevent me from being this way again in another conversation. And I thank them for making sure I was hearing them. They didn't say like, "Are you listening?" But they said, "This is really where I want to get at. Is all of this? You're correct about all of it, but they were very elegant about the way they just said, but I think this is going to help you." And they just gave it to me and they said, so yeah, it actually, the effect that this thing doesn't has isn't, the magnitude isn't as big as you think it is. And I went, oh. So I went and tested it while they were on the phone and I said, all right, I really appreciate you making sure I understood the part that you thought was important. And I'm glad I'm hearing you. And so it's just like that, I ended turmoil that could have potentially gone into another conversation, potentially caused me stress through the weekend thinking about it, all these other potentials. And although I'm still feeling a little tense, I'm sure by the end of this walk I'll be okay. So that was really invigorating, or it is now as I'm talking about and releasing. One of the commitments was feel all the feelings. Oh, and I'm recognizing it in my lower back and I'm recognizing it in my shoulders. And I will say I feel trapped. And there's a taste of hopelessness in the actions and extra work that I do sometimes. But with reflection, I'm also recognizing allowance for others' learning. Yeah, you're supposed to make a sound. There, it worked. Actually, it did work. Yeah, my back doesn't feel all weird. Just a little bit of a knot in my gut still, but I feel way better than I did 5 minutes and 37 seconds ago. Hey, whoever you are watching right now live, thanks. I really appreciate that. Thanks for sticking around. If you're there, give me a hello. And this is my commitment to being someone who lives in their genius. Living in your genius is the place where the most flow happens, the most creativity happens. It's where you live your best life, as the kids say these days. Living your life in the zone of excellence is okay too. It's more common, but striving for your zone of genius is actually what will help you proliferate your own human potential. And so for me, what I'm trying to do is just make sure that I'm accountable to the commitments I'm making. And last night, I made a commitment to my soul and heart that I would commit to living in my zone of genius. It's not fucking easy. And almost instantaneously, the universe gave me a test on that commitment. And although I wasn't able to spontaneously live in my zone of genius during that test, I also did not go below the line. I simply asked for some space so that I could process. I hope this journey, this reliving of my journey, is helpful for someone. For watching the replay, thanks a lot. Anyhow, I'm going to talk more about my zone of genius, your zone of genius, living in the zone of genius, and the ULP. This friendly gentleman walking behind me yelling something about homosexuals. I'm not really sure what he's saying, but he sounds to be someone of pejorative speaking nature. Sorry, that just took my attention off for a second there. I'm back. So the ULP, the upper limit, I actually forget what the P stands for. Principle? It's like your top ceiling. It's as a 12-year-old once described in the book, it's people who don't know how to feel good all the time do things to mess it up. And I think we all understand the concept of self-sabotage or limiting beliefs. It's kind of a common thread, similar concept. And identifying the thing about the ULP is it's essentially one thing. Limiting beliefs, there's many of them to potentially. Self-sabotage is actually just the expression of limiting beliefs or the expression of a upper limit. So I want to talk more about that. That's from the book The Big Leap, which I haven't talked much about. And then I want to go back to the being at full potential assessment, talk more about my coaching experience with that assessment tool. Because what I find really fascinating about that I want to share is 20 some characteristics that it breaks down and talks about how each human who's in that assessment is expressing those characteristics and what that looks like and how that shows up in your world. So I'm going to finish my walk up here and tell you I love you. Thanks so much for listening. I really appreciate the ears. Start a conversation down below. I'd love to hear it. Have you dealt with self-sabotage? Have you ever been in a scenario where something's being said to you and you know you want to be listening, you know you should be listening, but your state makes it impossible? What'd you do about it? Did you come back to it later? Did you acknowledge that? Did you mishear it and talk about it at a different time? And then the other person goes, that's not what I said. I don't know anything about that. That's never happened to me. Never. Anyhow, I love you. Have a great day, morning, evening, afternoon. Talk to you soon.